everyone, happy Thursday. I'm Jessica and this is my Thursday 12 p.m. slow flow yoga class. It just also happens to be my birthday today. So I'm really happy that you are here celebrating with me. So for today's class, you're gonna need, you might want, we'll say, a couple of props. If you don't have the standard yoga blocks, you can just get something that will help bring the ground closer to you in forward folds, like a water bottle, two water bottles or 2 cans. And you might decide that you want, if you don't have a yoga blanket, you might want a folded bath towel or 2, just to give you some extra cushioning under your knees if your knees are sensitive. I don't think we'll use a yoga strap today. All right, so also, since this is my birthday yoga class, I want to give a shout out because I heard that we have some special guests joining us live today, and for the first time ever, my parents have promised that they are taking this class with us. I think they've taken a couple yoga classes before, but I'm gonna try to make this class welcoming to all levels, and I want you all to know that if they can do it, you can do it. So it's a really interesting time to be talking about a theme of celebration, but that's what I want to do with you today, because we've all got a lot going on in the world around us, obviously. And it's important, in between all of the other feelings that you're feeling, whether that's fear or anxiety or confusion or numbness, that we bring in some other elements as well, that we pull up some other chairs to the table. And so I want to invite you, as we start our practice, to close your eyes and to bring to mind something, anything, big or small, that you have to celebrate. It could be as simple as celebrating this next breath in and this breath out. It could be celebrating this hour that you've carved out for yourself for your practice. The trees in bloom outside. Maybe you can hear the birds singing outside my apartment. Maybe you want to celebrate that. And just connect to what it feels like in your body to celebrate. What shifts, what changes. And what happens when we add in a measure of gratitude for that which we're celebrating. For me, I feel my shoulders relax and I feel a sense of expansion. And give yourself another moment to be in this sense of celebration, of gratitude. And you can let all of the other emotions that are seated at your table be there. This one doesn't have to push them out. But allow yourself to, with certainty, know that this presence is here with you as well. And we'll keep returning back to that feeling through our practice today. So, opening the eyes if you haven't yet, and taking in the space around you. Maybe even after taking a moment with that celebration and gratitude, the space around you feels a little different. Feeling also the connection, not just between you and me, but also between you and everyone else who is practicing in this moment live and watching this video in the future. Let's all stretch our arms out and up. Nice big breath in. And interlace your hands overhead, and let's turn the palms to face up. And you can keep your elbows bent at first and just allow your shoulders to relax and find some space on the sides of the neck. And then we'll push the arms up and arch the back, lift the chest. And as you exhale, press your palms forward, round the spine, spread your shoulder blades, let your belly draw in and your sit bones tilt. And then as you inhale, lift your chest, lift your arms. And exhale, round forward. Good. Keep pushing your arms forward as you inhale, come to a neutral spine. And we're going to take the left arm across the body. So I'm doing the arms that I say, but I think Instagram turns the video backwards maybe. So you can choose whether you want to mirror me or do the side that I'm saying. The left arm moves across the body. And we're going to take a few breaths with this. So as you inhale, you're just going to give the arm a gentle tug. And then as you exhale, you're turning your chest the opposite way towards the left. Keep the arm shoulder height. Inhale, gentle tug. Exhale, turn the chest towards the left. And now we're going to sweep the right arm underneath the left and lift the elbows to shoulder height, coming into eagle arms. Now for some of you, you'll get the backs of the palms or even the fronts of the palms together. If this is kind of awkward, then you can just hold that elbow today. And we're just gonna make some big circles, waking up the shoulders. So if your elbows aren't quite crossing, you can make those circles using your right arm, and we're just waking up that left shoulder. We'll come to the other one soon. Make those circles nice and big and let your spine move with those circles too. And then come to neutral and push your elbows into each other, or if you're holding your elbow, push your elbow and hand into each other. And let your next breath expand the back of the body. And full exhale. One more full breath, expanding the back of the body. And let the breath go, let the hands go, and just let the head sway a little side to side. If you picked up any tension on the neck in that activity, we'll let that go. And actually, let's sweep your arms behind you and you'll interlace your hands. So I'll just show you in front of me what I'm doing with my hands. And squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift your chest. And now keep your hands behind you and then start to draw the belly in and drop the head and keep reaching the hands back. Nice big breath here. And exhale. And then let your hands rest on your lap, take a breath. And we stretch that left shoulder, but notice if you can. So for me, I feel a big difference in how the left lung expands when I breathe. This is a time when we all want to exercise our lungs. Making space by stretching all of the muscles that might constrict the upper torso. Taking one more breath here. And then opening the arms wide, turn the palms to face up, nice big celebratory breath in. And then the right arm comes across the body. And we'll start again just holding the forearm or wrist. And just gently pull your right arm to the left, and as you exhale, turn your chest to the right. Inhale, pull your arm to the left. Exhale, turn your chest to the right. One more, inhale, pull your arm to the left. Exhale, turn your chest to the right. Excuse me. And then same options. This side might need something different, either eagle arms or holding the elbow. And we'll start to circle. So either holding the elbow or with your eagle arms. Let your spine move with your elbows. So we're making space in the shoulders, spaces between the vertebrae. The muscles between the ribs are also getting a little bit of mobility here. You can change directions if you haven't yet. Staying with your slow and steady breath. And then coming back to neutral, push your elbows into each other or push your hand and elbow into each other. You'll feel all the muscles around the shoulders, behind the shoulder blades engage. Take a nice big breath in, keep pushing the elbows into each other. Exhale fully. One more breath, just like that. Full inhale, keep pushing the elbows into each other. Exhale. And then let that go. This time when you take your hands behind your back, you usually have a habitual way of interlacing the hands. Take the other thumb on top. I'm just showing you in front of me, but do that behind your back. Squeeze the elbows, the palms towards each other, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. And then keep the hands squeezing towards each other. Draw the bottom ribs in, drop the head, move the chest back, lift your hands back. Take a nice big breath here. And let the breath go. And release your hands, circle your shoulders a few times. Toss your hair. And I'm gonna move my meditation cushion off to the side. You were sitting on something, you can move that off to the side. And we'll come onto hands and knees. And one more action to wake up the shoulders. So oftentimes we start our class with a cat-cow where you're arching and rounding the spine. Instead of doing that today, I want to get your shoulder blades gliding on your back. So the spine isn't going to arch or change shape. The spine is staying the same shape. And by the way, if your wrists bother you in this position, you're welcome to come down onto your forearms. And as the rib cage comes down towards the ground, the shoulders pull away from the ears, but the shoulder blades come towards each other. And then as you push down into the ground, the shoulder blades spread. So it's almost like your torso is an elevator, and the elevator is going all the way down to the basement, and then up to the neutral first floor, and then up to the second floor. And one more time, all the way back down, and all the way back up. Walk your hands a few inches in front of your shoulders, and we're going to tuck the toes. And just hover your knees an inch up off the ground. Push down through your fingertips, pull your shoulders back and your collarbones forward. So oftentimes when I teach this in class, people are like up here, and I can't see you, so I can't see if you're cheating or not. But you're keeping your knees just an inch or so above the ground, which is a little harder. One more breath. And then start to press the chest back towards the thighs, stretching through the arms. Shake the head side to side. And then start to lengthen the legs any amount. They don't have to straighten all the way. Especially this early in practice, I like to keep a pretty generous bend in my knees. Length through the arms, big breath in, and full breath out. Now as you inhale, we'll come forward to plank pose. And let's see if we can find that elevator again. So you're welcome to take your knees down to the ground if you like. And let's bring that elevator up. And then just back to neutral. Draw your shoulders back. And now let's all take the knees down. So as the shoulders go back, the chest goes forward. And as the elbows start to bend, the chest keeps going forward. And the shoulder blades come together just like we've been working on. All the way down to the ground. Good. Toes reach back. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the heart. Just enough without taking any weight in the hands. One more breath. And then release your hands. Roll your shoulders back, lift just a little bit higher. Pull your hands back and your chest forward. Press down through the tops of the feet. And then pressing through bent knees. Downward facing dog. Full breath in here. And full breath out. Let's lift the right leg up in the air. You can have a pretty generous bend in your left knee. And then we're going to turn the hips towards the right and bend your knee so you're stretching out the front of the right hip. You can circle that ankle around both directions. And then let's level the hips and draw the right knee in towards the nose. Spread your shoulder blades. So now you're bringing that elevator like up to the third floor, up to the roof. And float your right foot forward between your hands. Okay. If you have blocks or something to substitute your blocks, you're going to bring your hands up onto them. If not, just do what you can. And I'm going to pulse back and forth a few times. I always like to do this in my first lunge, just waking up that back leg and foot. And then you're squaring yourself off with your right knee over your right ankle. And let's take a twist to the right, stretching your right arm up. Now pull your right hip back. You're going to wrap your right arm around behind your back. And we're just making space for the right side of the neck so you can let your head hang down. Keep that back thigh lifting actively as your front knee bends over your front ankle. And you should be getting a nice sense of space or stretch in the right side of the neck. And let's bring your right hand back down. Good. One more pulse back and forth here. And then coming up onto your fingertips, we're going to step your left foot forward, keep your knees bent. Shift your weight back into your heels, spread your toes. A very persistent delivery person wants to drop me off a birthday present. Hope someone else lets him in. Take another breath. And then stay here with your hands down or sweep them up into a chair pose. And now we're going to take the hands behind the bottom of the skull and move the head back. And as you do, shift your weight back into your heels. Slowly rise up to stand. Keep moving the base of the skull back. Arms reach up. And hands fall by your sides. Full breath in here, let your arms relax. And exhale. As you inhale, the arms stretch up overhead. Exhaling, dive forward over your legs. As you inhale, reach your chest forward, your heart forward. And then let's bring your hands down to the ground and we'll step the left foot back. Let's turn your back heel down so that your toes are maybe about 45 degrees towards the front left corner of your mat. And you're going to stretch your left arm up, get light in your right hand, push down through your right heel, coming up to your warrior two. Front knee is over the front ankle, reach that inner knee forward. Spread through your toes. And then let's straighten your front leg without locking it. As you push down through your feet, feel the pelvis lift up. And then let's lift the arms up. Exhale, bend your front knee, arms out to the sides. Inhaling, reach up. Exhale, bend. One more, inhale, reach up. And exhale, bend. Bring your hands down to the ground around your front foot. Spin your back heel up, downward facing dog. Coming back to your breath. So now you're welcome to stay here and breathe. You're welcome to take your knees down to the mat and rest, perhaps in a child's pose with your head down. If you'd like to flow with me, you're welcome to do that as well, inhaling to plank pose. Take the knees down here or don't. And we'll lower half or all the way down. I'll demonstrate the half this time. As you inhale, you'll lift to a cobra, which is the last one we did, or to an upward facing dog. Notice my knees lift up, my chest pulls forward, spine is long, the neck is long. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Pause and breathe. Come back to that feeling of celebration, gratitude, spaciousness. And then we'll lift the left leg up. You can bend the knee as you open the hip toward the left. Just getting some space in the front of the left hip, left psoas. Reach that right inner knee forward. One more breath. and then level the hips. Shoulders come forward. Bring that elevator up to the roof. Left foot steps forward between your hands. And finding that pulsing back and forth, you can bring your hands onto blocks here. By the way, if that foot didn't step forward all the way, now you can pull it forward so the knee is over the ankle. And then come to stillness with the the left knee over the left ankle. And we'll take a twist to the left. Rather than sinking down into that right shoulder, roll the shoulder back. You can even come onto your fingertips if that helps. I'm just going to gently rest my palm. As you pull the left hip back, reach the inner left knee forward, lift the right thigh. Come back to your breath. Wrap that left hand around behind your back. Let's get that neck stretch, dropping the head. Imagine your breath can make space on that left side of the neck. One more breath. Bring your left hand down. You can take another pulse back and forth if you like. And then looking forward, you're going to step your right foot forward. Bend your knees, sit back into your heels. Spread through your toes. Feel the center of the back of your heel on both feet, rooting down. Stay here or lift your arms up. Full breath. One more. Rising up to stand, reach the arms tall. Exhale, hands by your sides. One breath here. And then inhale, arms reach up. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhale, reach your heart forward. And then, which foot did we just do? We're going to step the right foot back. Turn your back heel down. Again, those toes are about 45 degrees forward. Stretch your right arm up. Push down through your left heel, spread the toes. Warrior two. As you push down through your feet, feel the pelvis lift. Bend through the inner edge of your front knee. Easy breaths. Inhaling, arms lift. Let the arms lift the ribs. Exhale, bending that inner left knee forward. Two more with your breath. Hands to the ground. Move your blocks if you've got them. Downward facing dog. Nice long breath in here. And full breath out. And take those few breaths of your choice. You can stay in down dog, pause. You can move through another flow. I'm going to pause here in child's pose for a few breaths. Coming back to that feeling, I just want you to be able to hear me when I talk. Coming back to that feeling of celebration. Coming back to that feeling of spaciousness. And what I'm connecting to now, as I come back to a down dog, you can meet me there, is a deep feeling of gratitude for all of you who are here with me, celebrating with me. Lift up onto the toes and reach the heels back down. Now there are going to be a few ways that you can get your elbows down to the ground. The easiest one is going to be to take your knees down first. The most advanced or difficult one is to bend your elbows, spin your elbows back, and maybe see if you can land both of them at the same time. I'm going to walk my arms forward a little bit. We're going to meet in a forearm plank pose. So your shoulders are over your elbows. Bring the elevator up. pull your shoulders back. Now I'm gonna take my feet just another inch wider than my hips. So I have enough space for my feet to swivel. Now as my feet turn towards the right, my left elbow lifts. Maybe I stay here, or maybe I lift the left arm up. I am definitely, no matter what, rolling that right shoulder back and spinning the right side of the rib cage right below the armpit forward. Big breath here. Option if you'd like for a moment to float that left foot. And then coming back and spinning the other way. So maybe just that elbow lifts and use your hand as a kickstand. Maybe the arm lifts up. Roll the left shoulder back. Spin the left side of the rib cage up. Stay here or float that right foot. And then bring it down. You can rest or going side to side, be a little bit more fluidly. You can move with your own breath. Make this moment, this exercise, what your body needs right now. Good. Finishing up one round. And then bringing your knees down to the ground. Let's come to rest for another couple of breaths. And energize your arms now. Stretch them way out in front of you. Pushing down through your hands. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips high. Full breath in. And full breath out. As you inhale, lift high up onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Scoop the belly in. At the end of your breath out, you'll walk or lightly hop forward. Lift your chest, look forward. Exhale, fold down. Inhaling, sweep the arms out and all the way up. Exhale, hands by your sides. Take a breath and let the breath go. Okay. You might decide that you want a block here for this next pose. It's going to be a balance pose. If you don't have a block, then if your balance feels a little untrustworthy, you might do this pose at a wall. So if you're using blocks, and I'll show you where they go and then I'll move them out of the way. They'll go on their lowest height. You can also use like a couple big fat books on either side of your feet. So they would go here. And then you'll come to stand. Spread through the toes. And we're going to come back to that chair pose. Sitting back into your heels, arms reach up. Full breath in. Shifting your weight into your right foot, left heel lifts. And you'll cross your left foot over the right. Now you can step it down on the block. Maybe you can get it down onto the floor, or maybe you hover. And then the right arm crosses on top of the left. Now we're back at that eagle arm shape that we started with. So you can take your variation. Push your elbows into each other, lift your arms, breathe. Good. Now keep your right knee bent. Unwind your legs. And we're going to step back to a lunge. Turn your back heel down. You might need to heel toe your right foot an inch or two to the right. So we're in a warrior one. Your toes are pointing forward more than they were in warrior two. They're kind of pointing to the front left corner of your mat. Push down through your right heel, lift your arms. If you need to let the eagle arms go, you can let them go and just let your arms hang. And then you'll fold forward inside your right foot. And see if you can let your head hang down here. Let your arms hang down. Pull that right hip back, spread your toes. Pushing down through your legs, reach your chest forward. Keep the eagle arms if you still have them. And then just take one more breath, pushing your elbows into each other before opening to a warrior two. You can turn your left toes forward a little bit more. Straighten your right leg. I'm going to hinge into a triangle pose. You are welcome to take a block here. Lengthen the right side of the waist. Roll the right shoulder back. Easy breath. One more. Bend your front knee. Let's take a peaceful warrior. Reach your right arm up and back. You can just let that left arm drape. Don't put weight in it. Hands down to the ground. And downward facing dog. Okay, you guys are gonna love this one. I'm gonna take a little walk to the very front of the mat. We're gonna come back to that forearm shape. So whatever your preferred method of bringing the forearms down is, walk your legs back. And now bring your knees down to the ground. So you can actually just come onto your side for this. I'm gonna turn my right arm forward so that my fingers are pointing towards the front of the mat. My hips and my shoulder are in one line. The knees are probably going to be a little bit forward of the hip, but the elbow is underneath the shoulder and the right side of the rib cage is turning up. And now, left hand on left hip. Roll the right shoulder back, really important here. Hips float up and hips come down. So we're getting into the obliques a little. Hips come up and hips come down. Now on this next one, you're welcome to hold or to float that top leg up and lift the hips even higher. And back down, and let's do two more, so whatever variation you want. And then turn to face the front of the mat and we'll meet in a Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath the shoulders, legs reach back. Now for some of you, this is gonna be kind of crunchy in the lower back. If that's you, walk your elbows way forward. Reach your tailbone back, lift the low belly forward. Shoulders down away from the ears. Press down through the tops of the feet. So the abs are gonna be kind of active in this, lifting space below the navel. And then roll down. Either stack your hands under your head or turn your head to one side or both. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your heels side to side. This is one of those poses that I never want to get up from. But we will, because we have more to celebrate. Stretch your legs back. Bring your hands beside your rib cage. You can do this with the knees bent. We're going to press up to plank, or you can do this with the knees lifted. But I want you to make as straight of a line as you can with your spine, so we're not peeling up. Lift your belly. Lift your bottom ribs. Slowly press your way up. And back to your down dog. If you walked back, you can walk forward. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift up onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, walk or float forward. Look forward, inhale. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, hands by your sides. Take a breath. And now if you're using the blocks, the block will go outside your left foot for balance. Bend your knees, come into that chair pose. Sit back into your heels, spread your toes. Peel your right heel off the ground, feel your left foot holding your weight. Right leg crosses over left. Push the knees into each other a little, the way you did the arms before. And then left arm crosses over right. Either eagle arms or hold the elbow. Lift your elbows, sit the hips back. Breathe. No matter how steady you are, no matter how wobbly you are, breathe as though everything were steady. Keep the arms if you can. Lift your right knee. Float back to a lunge. And now I'm going to heel toe my left foot a little to the left as I turn my back heel down. So the right toes point towards the front right corner of the mat. Lift the elbows. Good. And then you're going to hinge down inside the left thigh. If you're feeling wobbly here, by the way, make your feet wider. And then see if you can drop the head. See if you can come back to the breath. Keep that back foot anchoring. One more breath here. Reach your chest forward. Relax the toes. And lift back up. If your arms are still in eagle pose, keep them there for one more breath. And as we open to warrior two, adjust the feet, arms open wide. Straighten that left leg, hips hinge, triangle pose. Be with the breath. Again, you can take a block underneath that left hand, you can rest it on your shin, or you can hover. And then bend your front knee. Peaceful warrior. Lengthen through the left side. And hands down to the ground. Downward facing dog. Last time this way. And walk it to the front of your mat. Spin the elbows forward, drop them down, or find your own way down to the ground. Walk it back to a plank. And then bring your knees down. And bring your left hip down. So the left hand turns so that the forearm is parallel with the front of your mat. The shoulder is over the elbow. And the hips are in line with the shoulder. The knees can be a little bent and a little forward of the hip. Just a couple inches though. Roll that left shoulder back. Push not just the elbow, but the whole forearm down, right hand to right hip. Lift up and lower. I feel like I need to scoot my hips a little closer to my shoulder so I get a little more lift. Lift up and lower. This time, as you lift up, lift that right leg, option, and back down. And you'll do two more, whatever variation feels right to you. Coming back to face forward. Find your Sphinx pose, reach your legs back. Find some space in your lower back, so walk your elbows forward if you need more space. Reach your tailbone back. Lift the low belly. Lift the chest. Shoulders draw back. Breathe. And then release down. You should probably turn your head to the other side. I'm going to keep my head turning this way so that I can see you, or that I can pretend like I'm looking at you. It's weird not to be able to see my students, but I feel you. Bend your knees and let your heels go side to side. And stretch your legs back. Stretch your arms back. Keep the inner feet, the inner edges of the big toes, reaching back. Reach your chest forward. Lift your chest up any amount. Maybe it's just to here, maybe it's to here, maybe it's higher. Turn your palms to face each other and squeeze your shoulder blades together so it's a variation on that going down to the basement shape. And then stay here or lift your legs up. Let the back of the neck be long. Let the breath, be easy. One more breath here, soften the jaw. And release down. You can wiggle your hips a little side to side. Turning to face forward. Option this time to do the same or to interlace your hands, squeezing your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your chest. Lift your legs, back of the neck long. Breathe. Feel your breath rock you. And then come on down. Okay, you can stay here and rest, or take one more of your choice. So one of the two that we just did, or if you're taking a wheel pose, start with your knees pretty close together, maybe an inch apart. Lift your chest. See if it's at all possible to catch both of your ankles at once. And then reaching your ankles back, let that lift your chest up. And again, let the breath rock you. And come on down. You can rest your palms underneath your head. Let your knees go side, your heels go side to side. Bring your hands beside your rib cage. We're just going to press up to hands and knees. And now bring your hands a couple inches in front of your shoulders like you would if you were going to down dog. And walk your right hand just a half an inch to an inch further forward than your left. Walk your right knee half an inch or an inch further back. And sit back towards a child's pose. Push down through your right hand. You're going to get a little bit more length on the right side, and then drop your head. Breathe into the right side of the body. Let that right hip pull back. You can even shift your hips a little more towards the right. And come back to center. Right hand and right knee go even with the left. Left hand and left knee walk forward and back. And hips pull back. If it feels good, you can shift your hips a little to the left. And let the breath do the work. You can relax that right elbow down. Let the breath in expand the left side of the body. And back to center. We're going to set up for a pigeon pose. You might decide that you want your blanket or towel or your block, if you have one for this. If you need an extra vinyasa, if you feel like you have a lot of energy you need to burn, you can take that one now. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. And then the right leg lifts up. And the right knee comes behind the right wrist. Now I don't care how far forward that ankle is, but that back knee comes down. And you can take that block underneath your right hip. Or you're welcome, I kind of like sometimes, this is not what they do on the cover of Yoga Journal, but it gives me a nice stretch to tip onto the right hip. That's the variation that I'm going to do today. And if you're tipping onto the right hip, you can walk your hands a little over to the left so you're still folding over your shin. And let your head hang down, or take a block underneath your head. So I'm demonstrating a kind of crooked pigeon today. And our bodies come in all shapes, so you'll just play, experiment, find the shape that is working for you in this moment. And then come back to the breath. Lifting your chest, you can walk your hands back in underneath your shoulders. And you're welcome to switch through hands and knees if you're done with down dogs for the day. Or lift your back knee up. And we're going to come into a down dog split with that right leg lifted. You can open the hip or make any movements that your body needs to release. And when you're ready, right foot comes down. And we switch sides. Left knee behind the left wrist. And you're bringing that left ankle just as far forward as it comfortably goes. This side might need very different support than the other side needed. Let's take a moment to lift your chest. You can prop up that hip with a block or a blanket. Or do the variation that I'm doing today, tipping onto your left hip. That back knee might turn to the side. That's fine too. By the way, if that bothers your back knee, you can take your blanket or towel underneath it. And if you are doing the twisted, crooked pigeon, you can walk your hands a little to the right so you're folding over your shin. And fold down, maybe a prop underneath your forehead. And coming back to a space of settling into yourself. Take a couple more breaths here. And then begin to walk your hands back. Lift your back knee up. If you're skipping your down dogs, we're going to meet in a moment on our back. If you'd like, down dog split, left leg up, maybe open that hip or take any other movements you feel like you need. And then any way you want to get to your mat, I'll take you through a plank. And shoulders back, legs engaged, slowly lowering all the way down. And you'll flip over. Hug your knees into your chest. And rock side to side. And let's stretch the left leg forward. And just interlace your hands behind the right thigh, flex your foot. Press your leg away from you, and then keep the left palm on the front, on the back of the hamstring, and push the very top of the thigh. I'm just making a little space in the hips. This isn't yet, well, for many of you it is a hamstring, but we're not going for how close to you can you pull the leg just yet. We're just making some space in the hips. So as you pull the lower part of the thigh towards you, the part closest to the knee, you're pushing the part closest to the hip away from you. You can just relax the foot if that gives you more space. And then you can come into your hamstring stretch. So if you have a strap to put over your foot, you're welcome to use it. You're welcome to lift your head, incline your hands towards your foot any amount, and then maybe relax your head back down. Circle the ankle around one direction, and then the other. Bend the knee. take it across the body into a twist. Now, any props that you have, you might like to place them underneath the knee, or you can take your left hand and with your elbow on the ground, just drop the knee into your left hand. That's going to give you a little more space in the lower back, especially if your lower back is a little tender, or if your spine is less twisty. Or you can drop the knee down and reach your right arm out to the right, palm face up. Breathe. Coming back onto your back. Have that knee in once more, and just flex your left foot and press your left heel forward. And then relax your left foot, stretch your right leg forward, and just pause here. Feel your two legs, feel your two hips, feel the breath, feel your two lungs. Notice how the two sides of your body rest differently on the ground. Is there a sensation in your body, maybe particularly on the right side, that you would like to appreciate? And then taking your left knee into your chest. Hug your hands behind the thigh and just hug it in. And then keep your right hand behind the thigh, closer to the knee, and start to flex the foot and press the heel up. Press your thigh into your hand. Take your left hand, and as you press the left hand into the top of the thigh, pull your right hand back. And you can relax the foot. That might end up giving you more space in the hip if you're not flexing so hard. If your hamstrings are really flexible, then I'd recommend keeping the foot flexed. I'm going to relax it. See if you can relax the shoulders. It's just reminding the leg bone that it doesn't have to pull on the muscles around the hip so tight, so tautly. And then if you want that hamstring stretch, pull the leg towards you. You can take a strap around the foot if you like. Maybe walking the hand up and lifting the head, and then settling back down into your stretch for a couple of breaths. As you're ready, bending the knee and coming into your twist, left arm out to the left. Option 1, take a prop or your hand underneath your left knee, or you can just let it go. Turning that left palm to face up. Steady breaths. And just let your body, your breath soften into this shape. Coming back onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. Pull your right knee towards your right armpit. Pull your left knee towards your left armpit. And once or twice more each side. And then you'll stretch your legs out in front of you, coming to rest. If your back feels tender in this position, you're welcome to do this with your knees bent. Knees bent variation that I like is taking the feet a little wide with the knees together. And you'll soften into this space of rest. And for those of you practicing at home, please do not skip this pose. So you stay on your mat. I am going to spend this time in seated meditation. And as you settle into this shape, coming back to that sense of expansiveness that comes with celebrating those things that are important to you, or beautiful to you, or meaningful to you. And sinking into the feeling in the body of gratitude, celebration, beauty. Be quiet now for several minutes. And I invite you to rest. Beginning to invite your attention back to the breath. Watch the inhalation grow fuller, bigger. And notice your body soften to release on the exhale. And you can begin to make any small movements you want to make, the fingers, the toes. You can turn the head side to side gently. And if your legs are straight out in front of you on the ground, you can begin to bend the knees one at a time. Gently rolling over onto your side. And just let your head be heavy, let your neck be relaxed, so that as you press yourself up to sit, your head is the very last thing to arise. Find yourself a comfortable seat. Drawing your palms to touch at the heart. Taking a moment of gratitude for that which lights you up, especially in precarious times. Gratitude for that which connects you to a sense of spaciousness, a sense of beauty, a sense of connectedness. Let's take a full breath in together and a full breath out. And I am so grateful to you for spending this time with me, present, or future.